So today we're going to take a look at a scenario where Antarctica gets colonized. Now you might be wondering, well, where's Antarctica? But I got a couple of things to say to you first. If you don't care about this, you can just skip ahead to the scenario. But I made a couple updates to my map. One of those being rivers on the map, another of those being lakes, and another of those being major cities. So now there's a lot more geographical features on this map, and this should make for some more interesting war scenarios in the future. But another thing I've added to my map is Antarctica. So we now have the complete world map. I mean, obviously proportions aren't accurate, but that's just the projection and stuff. But we do have Antarctica. So now we can have some fun with this continent, and today the world is going to be colonizing it once and for all. But yeah, before we get into this, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. All support is greatly appreciated as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So yeah, let's get started. So in real life, I know there's treaties and stuff that basically prohibit any colonization or permanent settlements in Antarctica, as well as resource extraction. But I don't care about that today. And today, all the countries are going to be allowed to go and set up colonies and claim the land for their own. To start off, as soon as the Antarctic Treaty is revoked, we have Australia and New Zealand beginning to make their move. We first have Australia making a landing here in northern Antarctica, claiming a vast area of the northern coast for their country. And we have New Zealand doing the same on this eastern side, taking a bit of a smaller area, more condensed, right near their country. Another country that we see is actually going to be Argentina. And they're going to make a landing here on the Antarctic Peninsula, claiming a bunch of these islands and a good area of the northern tip of the continent. But with Argentina setting up a colony in Antarctica, you just know who's going to get involved next. These islands. The Falkland Islands. But who controls them? Of course, these are owned by Great Britain, or the UK, I guess I should say. And the UK is the master of colonizing. They colonized like a quarter of the world or something it was. And so they're going to claim this big island right here, as well as these ones here. And they're going to claim a big area off of this bay or gulf, I'm not sure what this would be called. But they're going to claim a big old area here, right up against Argentina's colony. Now, if you don't know, Great Britain, right, I should just start saying the UK, but the UK and Argentina don't really like each other over the dispute about the Falklands, because Argentina thinks they should belong to them, but obviously the UK still controls them, so there's a bit of a dispute going on there, so a bit of tension between the two countries, and we could see some wars breaking out in the future. But anyway, continuing on, the next country getting involved is actually going to be Chile. They're going to go claim themselves a smaller piece of land over along the coast this way. Actually, never mind. Let's make their colony nice and long, because it's Chile, right? And there we go, a nice long Chilean colony. But if there's land to be grabbed, then there's one country that we all know is going to jump on this opportunity. And that is, of course, the United States of America. Now, I should mention that these have absolutely nothing to do with the actual claims in Antarctica. This scenario is just for fun, so I'm not really basing this off of anything. This is just kind of for fun, right? And so, with that in mind, the U.S. is going to go and they're going to claim this western coastline. And, well, the map kind of ends there. But the world is round, and so it comes out on the other side. And the U.S. claims a great big area of the Pacific side of the Antarctic continent. Now, the next country to make a colony, and this might be a bit of a surprise to some people, but to others it probably isn't, but it's actually going to be South Africa. If you don't know, they do control some islands over here. I'm not really sure which ones, but it's close enough to Antarctica. I mean, they are South Africa, so they can just get more southern. So they're going to start by claiming a big old area here in the center. And it is now that we're actually going to see a couple more of the world's major powers begin to get involved. Those include China, India, and of course Russia. The first of these to make a move is actually going to be China, and they're going to claim an area right down here next to Australia's colony. The other one is going to be India, and they're going to claim an area right here. And then after that, it's actually going to be Russia, and they're going to claim the area surrounding all of India's colony. And, well, India's not very happy about that. Russia's also going to go and brush up against China's colony, and they actually do take a big chunk of Antarctica. And it is now that we're actually going to see a couple more European powers get involved. Those include France, Germany, and Norway. Now, out of the European countries, you might be kind of surprised I chose Norway, because, I mean, they're not as strong as France or Germany. But they do actually claim an area of Antarctica, so I just chose them for fun. But they're not going to take anything large, and Norway will be the first to act, by the way. They're going to take a little area here on the tip of this peninsula. Yeah, this would be a peninsula, right? Another country to make a move will be France. I'm going to kind of cut off Norway, but they're okay with that because Norway didn't really want to take a bunch of land anyways. And then we also get Germany, who's going to claim a small piece of land right here. So now we have 13 countries who have all claimed a piece of Antarctica, but there's still a lot of empty space here in the center and even on the coastline, so we're not limited to just these 13 countries. Other countries might get involved as they want to compete for the resources on this continent and stuff like that. But countries are going to begin to expand their colonies, so if anybody still wants to get some land, they better act fast. But Argentina is actually going to go ahead and they're going to claim a much larger area into central Antarctica, or this peninsula area. But the UK does not like this, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to cut them off. Argentina is mad about this, but they won't do anything at the moment, since, well, they kind of can't. But the UK is actually going to continue to expand. They're going to take over a lot of central Antarctica. UK probably has the largest colony on the continent, but we'll see how long that lasts. As the US is now also expanding their colony. I don't know if these would be called colonies or territories or what, because I know the current Antarctic claims are just territories, so I don't know. You can tell me in the comments what you think they'd be called. But the US has rapidly expanded their colonies, and they now meet up against the New Zealand colony, which is also beginning to expand, and pretty soon all the coastline of Antarctica will be taken over. We now see the first country to make a landing on this continent, that being Australia, begin to expand, and quite fast. And of course there's not really anybody living out here. I mean, it is Antarctica, but let's say like global warming or something happens and people can live here. They can, I don't know, set up cities. So I have to update this map, I guess, because there's only cities up here, no cities down here. But anyway, China is going to continue to expand their colony as they want to compete with Australia and probably Russia a bit too. But definitely the US, as they don't want the West to have the largest colonies, and they want to make sure that their influence in this region is fully established. India wants to continue to expand their colony, but they are kind of blocked by Russia. They're not going to go to war with Russia because they do have some good ties with like trading and stuff. So they're not going to do that right now. But instead, they're actually going to go and make a second colony over here by France. And this one, they're actually going to expand a lot. And you might be wondering why they didn't take over this coastline. And that's because South Africa took it before they could. South Africa also begins to expand their colony quite rapidly, as they don't want to take over too much territory all at once. They probably could, but that would be a pretty boring video, wouldn't it? And another country is also going to be expanding their territory, and that one is going to be Russia. Same thing as China, they don't want the West to gain control over this continent, and so they're going to be expanding their influence and, well, their country deeper and deeper into Antarctic territory. Finally, we come back to the European powers, which France will expand their colony quite a bit. I mean, they did colonize a good portion of Africa and North America as well. So they are pretty good at colonizing. Germany won't take as much land, as now we actually are heading into our first major event. We actually have Argentina declaring war on the UK. Now NATO, the UN, EU, all those other kind of alliances are probably disbanded for this video, just as they are for all my other videos. So all those countries aren't going to be jumping Argentina here, but Argentina will gain control over the Falklands, as well as these islands, which I forgot the name of. And with that, they're actually going to begin to move into the British Antarctic territory. They push up along the Chilean territory, and they begin to take a lot of land from the British, who are pretty slow to respond. And they also go and make a landing on this island here. But eventually the British do get their stuff together, and they kick the Argentinians off of this island, and they begin to push them back on their mainland territory. They also make a landing on this peninsula, eventually liberating the entire thing. Eventually, they fully liberate their territory, and begin to push into Argentinian territory. I know I said territory a bunch there, but that's just because they're taking a lot of territory. But the UK is definitely stronger than Argentina. I don't even know what Argentina is ranked, but I know the UK is in the top 10. Argentina is not a weak country. It's just that the UK is a really strong country. And so they fully take over the Antarctic territory of Argentina. They also go and take back the Falklands and these other islands over there. And they make a landing on this island here, which is mostly controlled by Chile, so that's interesting. But the UK is going to make a landing in southern Argentina, and they're going to begin to push up the coast. And now I'm actually going to turn on rivers and lakes. We can see some geography, like see they've already lakes in this river. But there's actually another country that's going to be joining this war, and that is going to be Brazil. Brazil didn't get to set up a colony, and they're kind of mad about that. They're going to take over their panhandle and try to push towards their capital, but they won't be able to fully cross over this river, and so they're kind of stuck right here. But eventually they find a bridge and they go over here. Or maybe they go through Paraguay. I don't know. Brazil's actually going to declare war on Uruguay and just super quickly take out the entire country because they can. And with that, they're going to take over Argentina's capital with an easier area to get over there because, well, if they control this water, then they just hop over there. So they do just that, and they take over this large area of Argentina. The UK is also taking over a lot of area in the south as they now take over the second river and this island here, and they begin to push up towards this river, which eventually they're stopped at, but it looks like it stopped there, so just sneak around it. I don't care that there's mountains there, whatever. But eventually they take over all of the southern area, which I'm pretty sure is called Patagonia. But eventually Argentina is going to surrender, and now we will take a look at a peace treaty. Alright, and so looking at this peace treaty, we can see that Argentina lost a lot of land to both Brazil and the UK. The UK takes over all of southern Argentina, and Brazil takes over a lot of northern Argentina. And I was able to make these borders look pretty good by following rivers. That's another new perk from having this on my map. I follow this river up here. I didn't really follow it here, but the UK's border is fully a river border. And so now Brazil's looking pretty good. I kind of like this part. They'll probably take over Paraguay or Bolivia soon or something, but different video. In Antarctica, the UK has taken full control over Argentina's colony. And now in Chile, we see that they aren't able to fully hold on to their colony. And so a bit of it is given up to the UK, and a bit is given over to the US. What about the rest of it? Obviously, Chile is going to hold on to it, but it might become an independent country in the future. Who knows? But they still hold on to this coastline, and they don't want to expand anymore, so the UK and the US split it about halfway in order to expand their colonies. And so, yeah, that is probably going to do it for today's video. It is a little bit of a shorter one, I know that. But make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you did enjoy it. All support is greatly appreciated. Leave any comments or video suggestions below. Make sure you come. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.